World Trade Center Building number 7 was reduced to rubble on September the 11th, but it wasn't attacked. World Trade Center Building number 7 on the 11th of September 2001 was one of the casualties of the terrorist attacks of that horrific day. Building 7's sudden and shocking collapse has been overshadowed by the fate of the Twin Towers, but from an engineering point of view, it is the greater mystery.
We were surprised that Tower 7 collapsed, we being the team that investigated what occurred on that day. There was some damage to Tower 7 caused by the debris that hit it from Tower 1, but the damage was certainly not similar in scope or magnitude to that caused by the aircraft hitting Towers 1 and 2.
The only positive aspect of the calamity was that the building fell 7 hours after the Twin Towers. Everyone had been evacuated, and although the 47-story structure collapsed in on itself in less than 10 seconds, no one was killed.
World Trade Center 7 was completed in 1987. It had approximately 1.8 million square feet, 47 stories, and was roughly 600 feet tall. Each of the floors was approximately 40,000 square feet, which is roughly the size of a football field and equal to the size of the floor plate on each of the towers.
The building was a good building. It was soundly designed. It would still be standing if not for 9/11, and it was state-of-the-art at the time, absolutely.
Many challenges faced the engineers in designing World Trade Center Building 7. One of these was to find a way to erect it over an electricity substation that already existed on the north side of the site.
As a result, we had to do very many, I'll use the word tricks, transferring of column loads, carrying loads either on cantilevers or on truss systems. It was a challenging project at the time.
Analysis of the collapse of number 7, which had been burning out of control since the collapse of Tower 1 7 hours earlier, seemed to indicate the initial failure occurred somewhere between the 5th and 7th floors. This was where the transfer trusses were built to carry the load over the Con Edison substation. The way the building fell supports the idea that at least one of the trusses was weakened by the fires in the building and gave way.
Once one of those trusses went down, then because of the way everything was interconnected in the floor system, it pulled down the rest of the building.
Normally, when you have a structural failure, you carefully go through the debris field, looking at each item, photographing every beam as it collapsed and every column where it is in the ground, and you pick them up very carefully and you look at each element. We were unable to do that in the case of Tower 7.
The wreckage from Tower 7 was mingled with the debris from the other destroyed or damaged buildings. It was removed from the site so rescue and recovery efforts could continue.
We then have to ask, why did the building fail on 9/11? Well, there are a couple of things we could look at. One is, perhaps the column didn't have the right amount of fireproofing. Well, we have no indication that this was a substandard building at all. It is certainly possible that the debris that started the fire in Tower 7, this is the debris from Tower 1 when it collapsed into Tower 7, that debris knocked off some of the fireproofing. It doesn't take much fireproofing to be removed for the steel to fail.
One theory suggests that the steel around the 5th floor was superheated by diesel fuel discharging from broken pipes which supplied the building's emergency generators. However, the true explanation may be simpler. The building caught fire at 10:30 a.m. when Tower 1 collapsed. The water pipes supplying the sprinkler systems were damaged, and the fire department made the decision to allow the evacuated building to continue to burn in favor of trying to save the lives of those trapped in the rubble of the Twin Towers.
If you allow it to burn long enough, it's going to get past the fireproofing material, and it's going to cook the steel, and the steel is going to yield.
To safeguard against future high-rise disasters, many different agencies are involved in the ongoing effort to determine the exact cause of the failure. But this has not stood in the way of construction of a new building.
We have to rebuild on that site. We have to rebuild on the World Trade Center site. If we didn't, then we lose. And we ain't gonna lose.
A year after 9/11, construction began on a new World Trade Center building number 7. It was to be the first to rise from the ruins, and safety was a top priority in its design.
It's going to be 52 stories when it's completed, 750 feet tall in all. Up above us you see, and all around this floor, you see fireproofing. What we've done that's different, that's beyond the code, and indeed beyond normal practice in buildings, is we've made the fireproofing 5 times as durable as required by code. And fireproofing can withstand all kinds of circumstances, and that's a very important safety development.
The stairs are 20% wider than necessary, which will allow people to leave more quickly and emergency teams to move more freely within the building. In addition to the standard emergency lighting, the stairways have track lights on the floor similar to airliners. And if that fails, all the railings and stairs are marked with photoluminescent paint that glows in the dark.
Probably the single most important safety innovation in this building is that all of the life safety systems of this building are encased in a massive 2-foot thick, in most places, concrete wall. That assures that in the event of an emergency, the life safety systems that support quick and successful evacuation, the stairs, the water standpipes that support sprinklering, emergency lighting, emergency communication, are all protected. The concrete that's being used in the core and elsewhere in the building is what you call high-strength concrete, similar to what's used in military bunkers.
The new building, like the original, is built over the Con Ed electricity substation, but the structural load is being managed in a different way.
The structure of the exterior of the building relates to the Con Ed substation with a belt wall that takes place just above the level of the substation, where we transfer the loads from the office building so that they're distributed throughout the exterior of the Con Ed substation at the base.
There is pride in the builders of the new World Trade Center 7. Scheduled for completion in 2006, it represents the finest achievements in contemporary building design.